Die Sprachübertragung beginnt jetzt. Alle Teilnehmer befinden sich im Zuhörermodus.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Good morning, space enthusiasts, and welcome to our international kickoff of the Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters, the two leading innovation competitions for the European flagship programs, Galileo and Copernicus. My name is Ines Kühnert, and I'm not only the host of this event, but also head of the Galileo and Copernicus competitions at AZO. With over 480 registrations today, we unite the Galileo network and the Copernicus network to learn more about the two competitions directly from our partners and hear from our keynote speakers on how space data can support human lives, health, and development in challenging times such as COVID-19 currently. So let's get started with an introduction by our AZO Managing Director, Thorsten Rudolph. And please, Thorsten.
Yeah, thanks, Ines. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome also from my side. It is quite impressive to see so many interested participants, in total 480 from all over the world. And I'm looking forward to fruitful discussions together with you and our speakers. At AZO, we organize both innovation competitions, the Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters, on behalf of the European Space Agency, ESA, the European Commission, and a number of institutional and industrial partners. 16 years from now, we started building this innovation network together with our partners in order to support innovators such as companies, startups, students, or scientific staff from almost all parts of the world in implementing their product ideas and business models in the satellite downstream business. I'm very pleased to announce that this year we have again succeeded in putting together an extremely attractive prize pool for the participants of both competitions. I would like to thank all our partners for their continuous support, also and especially in these challenging economic times. Allow me to share with you a brief overview of this year's prize pool and our partner network. The total prize pool this year amounts to around 1.5 million euros, which will be distributed amongst the best 50 participants of the two innovation competitions. Of this amount, 158,000 euros will be awarded as cash prizes. Another 350,000 euro is available in form of data vouchers to access Earth observation data from the Copernicus program or the data warehouses of our partners. The in-kind support to winners facilitated by them amounts to 643,000 euros. Additionally, the top 12 Galileo Masters participants have the chance to win a seat in the Galileo incubator. This program offers targeted support to its winners with a total value of up to 372,000 euro and is co-financed by the European Commission. In this context, once again, thank you all, our partners, from the generous support of the best ideas and business cases of the Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters. Since the founding of both competitions, the backbone of our innovation network has always been our international partner ecosystem. This year, 126 partners from 34 countries offer their resources to help startup companies and innovations from research and industry to achieve a breakthrough with their solutions. We are very proud that today we have an incredible network of research institutions, space agencies, European institutions and ministries, industrial partners, banks and venture capitalists, clusters and technology parks, and more than 50 business incubators to support you all across Europe. Furthermore, for this round of the competitions, we were able to win new supporting partners from Europe, but also from Africa, South America, and Asia. This is only the beginning of creating new relationships and strengthening our existing cooperation for the European space program beyond the borders of Europe. Before we finally get started, I would like to thank again our 10 challenge partners, 18 prize partners, and our broader partner network, as well as my team at AZO, who has worked hard over the past months to make these innovation competitions happen in times of Corona. I wish you all an inspiring and exciting 3 hours with our amazing speakers and hope that our kickoff encouraged you even more to be a part of the space future. All the best for your submissions, and now I'm pleased to hand over to Ines Kühnert, who will guide you through the program today. Thank you very much for your attention.
So here I am back again. Thank you, Mr. Rudolph. Before we get started, I would like to briefly give you an outlook on what will happen in the next 3 hours. So first of all, we will hear keynotes on how space data can support human life's health and development in times of COVID-19, for example, followed by an introduction to the challenges of both competitions by our partners themselves, and then 2 Q&A sessions with former winners of both competitions. You're invited to send us your questions to the speakers via the question field in the GoToWebinar tool. Due to the lack of time, any questions might not be able, we might not be able to answer. We will follow up on them after the event. For those of you that might need them to leave the room for a minute, don't worry, the event will be recorded and made available shortly after the event. Any other technical or administrational questions that you might have and that we are able to answer, please also send them to us via the question field, and we will try to follow up on them during the event. In this respect, I would also like to remind all our speakers kindly to stick to their time limit and excuse myself already if I might be forced to interrupt you when exceeding the time limit. So this, at least for our housekeeping in the beginning, thanks a lot. And now let's welcome our first keynote speaker, Josef Aschbacher, Director of Earth Observation Programs at the European Space Agency.
So thank you, Ines. Also, thank you, Thorsten, for the introduction. I'm very happy to welcome you here. I'm sitting in my office in Frascati, as you might see from the background, but I assume most of us or most of you will be in home office, and that's a very special occasion. So I'm really happy to welcome you to this 10th edition of the Copernicus Masters program, which is co-organized with the Copernicus, with the Galileo Masters. And as you know, the Copernicus and the Galileo programs are the flagships of the European Union, and they are very important programs in space for Europe. So the title of this year's event is How Can Space Support Human Lives, Health and Development in Challenging Times? And I think this already says it all. We do live in very challenging times, and this opportunity here is, I think, really testimony to this. So we have conducted the Copernicus Masters now for 10 years, which makes a nice anniversary. But this year, as you all know very well, we are living in very, very special times through the Corona crisis. It does affect and overshadow all our activities, private and business, families and work. And many of you are, in fact, remotely participating to this, which is quite unique. But every difficulty also has its flip side, like yin and yang. And this crisis also provides an opportunity. And this opportunity is to show how the special role of space and what space applications can do in times of crisis when people are most in need of trusted, factual information. My goal, and also the goal of ESA, is to monitor the health of our planet and to help the ones in need. And among this, ESA aims at informing decision makers about the state of the planet, the choices they have when making evidence-based decisions, and to monitor the impact of these decisions. So let me elaborate a bit on the central role of space in monitoring and assessing the impact that humans are having on our planet. In particular, space technologies and Earth observation in particular are providing key contributions to the generation and the accuracy of geospatial knowledge and information. And because of their position in orbit around the Earth, remote sensing satellites offer a very unique vantage point and generate data streams that allow us to observe environmental changes, including wide-ranging effects of climate change. The European Space Agency plays a key role in the European Earth observation ecosystem. Its R&D program prepares all future Earth observation missions developed by ESA, in particular new science missions, we call them Earth Explorers, and new capabilities for operational monitoring in meteorology and for the use within the Copernicus program. ESA also provides technology development for national and commercial missions to its member states. Thanks to Copernicus, the general public, downstream users and decision makers have been able to witness some direct effects of the COVID-19 impacts from space. For instance, it showed how the levels of air pollution caused by NO2 emissions above global cities and industrial areas have significantly dropped. This occurred as a consequence of lockdown measures. Traffic was decimated and a lot of fossil fuel-powered industrial production was put temporarily on hold. Images taken from Copernicus Sentinel-5B satellites over Europe's capital cities during March present a stark reduction in nitrogen dioxide emissions, a pollutant linked with respiratory and heart conditions. Compared to the same period in 2019, our levels, which we measured, were down by about 48% in Madrid, 49% in Rome, 54% in Paris. So really about half of the pollution which we usually have. Copernicus also revealed information on the functioning of our economy, as it is capable of observing grounded planes at airports, tarmacs, changes in large-scale agricultural productivity, traffic jams at closed or obstructed borders, and ship and oil tankers waiting at the sea to deliver their goods on shore. In short, Earth observation can tell a great deal about human economic activity and about the mobility of goods and people, so crucial to the globalized economy of the 21st century. Earth observation provides contributions to our ability to improve human health in the future. In the specific cases of viruses, for instance, scientific studies have confirmed that their prevalence and increasing frequency is linked to the accelerating destruction of ecosystems. In this sense, trends observed from space, such as the rate of disappearance of rainforests and wetlands, can help in our assessment of medium and long-term risks, and it can provide information needed to take sensible decisions in terms of environmental and agricultural policy. But the link between Earth observation and health is in fact much broader. Human health is heavily impacted by the overall health of our planet and the state of our environment. Climate change and other environmental changes are having an ever stronger impact on local or regional levels. The Earth observation systems, therefore, help us to increase societal resilience, to support rescue and disaster relief efforts, and to help predict how the overall biosphere will likely change in the coming decade. Let me conclude by pointing out that ESA has initiated several major initiatives in the context of COVID-19. First, a rapid action program, COVID-19 Earth observation. We call it RACE, Rapid Action for COVID and Earth Observation, in cooperation with the European Commission, but recently also extended to a full global cooperation, including NASA and the Japanese Space Agency, JAXA. What we produce are dashboards, which will be opened to the press at an event on the 5th of June. We also showcase the impact of COVID-19 for industrial manufacturing and agricultural productivity. Examples are ship traffic in Gibraltar, airport traffic decrease, increase of water quality in the Venice lagoon, the reduction of car manufacturing in Ingolstadt, Germany, in Leipzig, Germany, in Ghent for Volvo, but also harvest of white asparagus in Brandenburg, and queues at supermarkets in different cities, the decrease of NO2 concentrations over Europe, and port activities in Genoa and Dinja. But we also offer the Europe Data Cube Customs Clip Contest with weekly prizes. We also have a permanently open call titled How Can Earth Observation Data Help with Monitoring COVID-19 Impacts on the Society? And we have joint activities and capabilities which we build up with NASA, with JAXA and ESA to observe environmental and economic impacts of COVID-19 on space. And we participate in the Space Apps COVID-19 Challenge, again with NASA and ESA and JAXA and CSA and CNES on the 30th and 31st of May 2020. So as you see, ESA has taken on the challenge presented by COVID-19. Together with our partners, we do remain very committed to bringing the benefits of space-based Earth observation to citizens in Europe and worldwide. And let me say thank you at this occasion.
Thank you, Mr. Aschbacher. Switch my video again. Hi, back again. Thanks, though. I hear that ESA is really doing a lot also with global partners to support the fight against pandemic outbreaks like COVID-19. It's really great to hear that people all around the globe are working together to fight this. For our next keynote speaker, we are happy to have Christoph Kautz, the head of Unit D2, Space Research, Innovation and Startups in the DG DEFIS of the European Commission. So, Mr. Kautz, I know that you will not be able to join with camera, so I will switch mine off and we will hear you in the background.
Yes, good morning. I hope you can hear me. A warm welcome from the European Commission side. You can listen to my voice, and unfortunately you cannot hear me because the Commission's IT system doesn't like too much the GoToMeeting software, apparently, so apologies for that. So welcome. I think it's encouraging to see the big interest in this event under these special circumstances, as it has been said, and thank you very much to AZO for organizing this event. I would like to share with you some thoughts from the Commission's perspective about the current situation, but of course also about this important competition that we are kicking off today. Yes, indeed, as it has been said by Josef and Thorsten, we are facing an exceptional period for which we were not really prepared, and it was difficult to imagine in advance. It's shaking our private, social, economic, and political life, and despite advances that we have all made during the last weeks, we are still facing a lot of challenges, and challenges for which we have no immediate response to. So all the more new ideas and research is required. But as it was said also by Josef, we are recognizing also the positive developments. So so one is certainly the rising awareness of the importance and value of space data and information, and particularly of our European programs Galileo and Copernicus in fighting the virus and overcoming the current situation. I just want to give you a few examples. So for the Commission, and in particular for our President von der Leyen, Galileo and Copernicus in the first days of the crisis was really crucial input for her in the decision-making process. So at the beginning of the crisis, the imagery provided by the Copernicus satellites was used by the Commission to better understand the situation of traffic congestion at border crossings between EU member states. So really there was a crucial input for the decision-making at the highest level. Then second, researchers all over the world I think, are discovering the value of Copernicus and feed computers, supercomputers with these big data sets to launch artificial intelligence analysis to understand better the multiple interplay between parameters such as air pollution, temperature, traffic conditions, and the spread of the virus. Third example, and I'm sure Fiammetta after me will say a few more words about this. The GSA developed a very interesting application called Galileo Green Lane. I'll not go into the detail, but just to explain that at the beginning of the crisis as well, you know, when member states started to close the borders, impose health screening controls, there was a lot of trouble at the borders. And so the Commission issued guidelines urging member states to ensure that for the free movement of goods, a green lane is put in place at the border crossings. And the Commission issued a guideline that on these green lanes, the checks should not exceed 15 minutes. And this app is basically helping to understand and to monitor this 15-minute guideline at the borders. We as a Commission, we participated in I think there were so far 2 international COVID-19 app competitions, which the Commission also supported. All of this and more you can find on a dedicated website of the Commission on the EU's space response to the coronavirus, where we have also gathered information about what our partners are doing. But coming back to the competition we are launching today, I think this competition could not be more timely. We know that startups and small SMEs suffer enormously from the current crisis. Already in mid-April, we know that business surveys done in several countries have shown a sharp downturn. So 9 out of 10 SMEs said that they are impacted by the crisis. 6 out of 10, so that's more than half, said they are severely impacted. And space companies respond similarly, with 6 out of 10 saying they are impacted, and 3 out of 10 report loss of sales revenue. So the impact is really dramatic. European venture capital firms report delays in completing financing rounds, and many funds are walking away from deals because of the uncertainty. Since startups have less total assets and are vulnerable to revenue losses, this crisis effectively risks eliminating many companies in a very short time. Therefore, I would like to thank really all the regions which decided to organize a regional Galileo Copernicus Prize. I think in these times, it's a commitment which merits all our gratitude. And I would like to encourage all startups which are present today or which will hear from this communication to present their innovative ideas and solutions and to create new markets and business opportunities. Furthermore, I have got also the pleasure to announce that we envisage to make the participation in this competition even more attractive by offering a ticket to the Copernicus Accelerator, our tailor-made coaching program, to a number of winners. So the 2 winners of the European Commission Challenge, the winners of all the Copernicus regional prizes, the 3 winners of the GSA Galileo challenges, the winners of the Copernicus Master challenges, and the remaining open places will be filled by the best proposals to be presented in reply to an open call, which we will launch soon. So with this composition of participants to our accelerator, we want to value and recognize the commitment of the regions to organize for the first time the Copernicus regional prizes and to reflect the spirit of the close coherence between Copernicus Galileo. Now, unfortunately, we have only 50 places available, so we cannot give a ticket to everyone. but we hope that the perspective to get a unique one-year coaching will stimulate the submission of many innovative proposals. Last but not least, I would also like to give a glimpse of into the future. So first of all, the Commission decided in March in its SME strategy that in the future all our startup and entrepreneurship activities, be it Galileo, be it Copernicus, would be brought together under one roof, which is called Cassini and stands for Competitive Space Startups for Innovation Initiative. And through this Cassini initiative, we want to expand the number of startups, we want to increase their chances to succeed, and we want to accelerate, secure their growth and scale up. And you will hear in the future more from us about this initiative. Secondly, tomorrow the Commission will adopt the revised multi-annual financial framework, which what we know as it is in reaction to the COVID crisis. The aim is to increase the EU budget to help bringing the EU's economy back on track. We have to see what this means for startups and SMEs, but definitely something I invite you to watch tomorrow when it will be announced. Thirdly and lastly, looking into the future, I would like to finish with a quote from Albert Camus, because I think it tells us exactly what is expected from us now in this situation in order to rapidly shape a better future for all of us. He said, "Real generosity towards the future lies in giving all to the present." And with that, I conclude. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Christoph. This is really a perfect finish to your speech, I would say. We already heard a little bit of what maybe Fiammetta will tell us next. So let's welcome Fiammetta Viani, Head of Market Development at the European GNSS Agency, GSA.
Thanks, Ines. Yes, indeed. So there were some anticipation from Christoph. But let me start with this prize. So GSA is partner of Galileo Masters since many years, and we succeeded to support in these years more than 15 ideas. And let me do some practical examples of how these ideas became real products or real startups. The first example that we hope can inspire the attendance is Johan. Johan is a solution that we scouted and it was our winner some years ago for sport. And now many players of hockey, football and rugby teams are using the solution of Johan to monitor and track with Galileo the activities in the playing field. Another example is Kineo. Kineo is a platform that permitted to develop navigation solution open source. Let me say, they became the Arduino of GNSS, and they're selling their solution online today. And the last example, last but not least, is our winner of last year, Xylene. They developed a solution that monitored the supply chain of wood and especially avoid the fraud and the side commerce of wood, very important in this moment in the forestry and in the environmental challenge. And they are also selling online their application. They receive many other awards, and they've been selected in the 10 startups to watch in 2020 in the field of forestry. So this is to give you inspiration and to say that to win these prizes means a beginning for a future of success. And we are here to materialize also this year. But let me go to this important point that was mentioned already by Christoph for the startups and SME. So our prizes are targeting startups and SME. Because we believe that this kind of innovators can bring the difference in space downstream, but also because they are the backbone of our society. And today, with the COVID crisis, they are the weak element of the supply chain. They are the last one to be paid by the big companies, or they are the ones that struggle more to have credit from the banks. So we have this moral and ethical engagement to support more and more startups. And also in the COVID initiative, they demonstrated to be the ones that are able to react fast and to help us to do good things. As example, we have in the GSA webpage a bank knowledge for GNSS for crisis. So we list all the applications based on Galileo and on navigation that help in this moment of crisis. So for example, queue management, or how the virus is spreading, or mobility application for vulnerable people, and so on. And most of these applications are developed by SME and startups. And this is also an invitation. If you have an innovative application already in the store that you want to be listed, we update it every week. So contact us and we will be happy to list additional ones. But also SME and startups are protagonists of the activities that we did as GSA together with the Commission to react to the crisis. Christoph was quoting Green Lane, Galileo for Green Lane. This is an application that, thanks to crowdsourcing data coming from trucks and data input by the border police, is able to monitor what is happening at the borders between the EU countries and to see if the waiting time is in line with the recommendation of the Commission, but also to give suggestions on how to improve the situation. For example, to better plan the trip for logistic companies or to divert the traffic to another border for the border police. And this application is already went through different pilots. We had very good feedback from both the truck drivers and the border police, and is now going to be operational all around Europe, and to continue also to be operational after, because we received many new requests of functionality. And also in developing this Green Lane application, the GSA was actually supported by SME and startups. So this is to say that this backbone is also of essential importance in this time of crisis. And for this reason, as Christoph was mentioning, the GSA is supporting the Commission for the new initiative dedicated to startups and SME that is called Cassini. And we believe that now, even more, this is one of our most important priority for the years to come. And also, this crisis has demonstrated that the synergies between the various components of the space program, of the EU space program, are important. In fact, Joseph explained about RACE, the dashboard to monitor the impact of COVID-19 on our economy and on our environment. And also there we are cooperating via synergies between the navigation data and the Earth observation data to measure certain indicators in this initiative. And so based on this, we are anticipating some of the things we want to do from next year, and at the end of this year we would be able to have a network of venture capitalists that are particularly prepared and sensitive to the space downstream, and then can help also the winning ideas coming out from Galileo Master to scale up and to grow. So we will give more details in the coming months. And coming back to the Galileo Master Prize, so what we thought this year, a few months ago, was to dedicate our prizes of 2020 to space for our children, so for the next generations, because this is our future in the end, so the future of our children. And in this frame, we thought to have 3 prizes. The first one, believe me or not, it was before the COVID-19. It was dedicated to health and safety, because we said as a first priority, our children should be healthy and safe in the future. But now with the COVID-19, we rediverted this prize to indeed application that can support the crisis, and my colleague Marta Krivanis will give more details later on. The second prize, we said, okay, our children have right to have a better planet, or at least as good as the one we inherited in our generation, so it's dedicated to the climate change. And the third one is space for fun. So Here, the idea is that our children are children today, despite COVID-19, and they want also the leisure part. So it's for sport, leisure, gaming, but also for tourism. That is one of the industry that is more, let's say, touched by the crisis of COVID. And so in this case, we invite also the applicants to take this into account and to develop around it. So this is an anticipation, and we will go in more details about the prices later on. We think that to have this competition ongoing, as has been said, is of paramount importance. Especially many SME contacted us saying, it's good, now we will have COVID-related kind of general funding and supporting initiative, but it's important also to maintain the ones that are on the specific topic where we can grow our competencies, where we can grow our area of specialization. And so it's important to go on, and I'm sure that this year we will have even more innovative ideas coming out from Galileo Masters. So this conclude my speech.
Thank you, Fiammetta. I really have to say I like that your challenges fit perfectly to the quote that Christoph just finished his speech with. Thanks a lot. So now we go to our next speaker, and I'm looking forward to hear what Dr. Fischer, Director of the Technology Marketing at the German Aerospace Center, has to tell us about how the DLR deals with the youngest developments and where they do see potential for the space industry. Mr. Fischer?
Yeah, I'm coming. Oh, okay. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of the Copernicus Masters community, thank you for inviting me to give a short keynote to showcase the motivation of German Aerospace Center, DLR, at the 2020 Copernicus and Galileo Masters competition in very special times. Let's take a look how we can work jointly to overcome Corona with bright ideas for the right tech solutions. Just struggling with the electronics. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And looking first at the question, why Galileo Copernicus are key in solving nowadays major challenges. We face a bunch of so-called grand challenges today, which really stress the society and economy, but also the whole ecosphere on land, sea, and in the air. The daily focus between those open questions for mankind and environment might be shifting from time to time, but the problems will remain, and there's enormous need for solutions and relief. To better understand the global change caused by the human impact in this age now called Anthropocene, we need smart tools at our fingertips, and we all know that the unlimited overview and data coverage beyond all natural frontiers and borders between countries is given from space. The data and services generated from far above for the use here on Earth show in an impressive way the value of information for everyone. In fact, knowledge is the one and only resource that is growing by sharing. For space-based knowledge from European citizen satellites, this wisdom is more valid than ever before. This open and cooperative mindset is highly appreciated by committed users worldwide. Galileo is in operation on more than 1 billion smartphones around the globe and additionally enables trusted operation in safety critical areas. And Copernicus is the world's largest Earth observation program, by the far offering free access to data and its several specific monitoring services for environment and security. Earth observation provides a big picture almost in real time for decision making. Together with satellite navigation for localization anywhere in the field, this gives a call for action. Europe made a unique effort to build the spaces constellations of Galileo and Copernicus. Both systems are successfully up and running downstream data. But the real success is the empowerment of applications based on space data and the user dissemination as a new public service. The variety of use cases range from transport, environmental protection, agriculture, public safety, rescue, and outdoor activities, to only name a very few areas. This seems like everything is done already, which means every good idea became a reality. But it's completely different. There's yet a lot more to explore, new topics to tackle, deeper integration of knowledge, more performing technologies, and full availability by the cloud. And the most important is the search for bright ideas for the next generation of technologies and brand new applications. That's why we were all here together and spread the word of the potential of space applications enabled by Galileo and Copernicus for real-world challenges. In which thematic areas can space technology solve or tackle pandemic outbreaks worldwide? Maybe you have heard from our astronauts in the last weeks giving good advice through social media to the public how to stay physically healthy and mentally fit during quarantine at home. But what is their expertise on this? It's obvious that they are well trained and prepared for such situations as those somehow comparable to a long-term stay in the International Space Station and the future, hopefully, the travel with manned space missions to the moon or even to Mars. DLR is one of the leading organizations in space research and development of space technologies, is deeply engaged in understanding and improving human health and space missions. Therefore, we have a research institute on space medicine in Cologne with a very specialized facility called NBHub to examine voluntary medical subjects in studies over longer times. In general, human health plays an important role in spaceflight, and the clean, bacteria and virus-free environment of the ISS is a must. So quarantine is daily business for astronaut crews heading for coming back or going to space. And many sensors like microbiological detectors and sniffers control and ensure the proper environment all time. Last but not least, the advanced technologies for voice communication, but also high throughput data transmission over larger distance, like in satellite communications and terrestrial mobile networks, are a typical solution mastered and continuously improved by our engineers. Coming now to applications to be developed and implemented, helping the fight against pandemic outbreaks. We all heard it several times. Technology is one of the keys and most effective means in the worldwide fight against the spread of corona. Maps of the local concentration of infection were helpful as starting point. But advanced solution can deliver much more. In fact, the tracing app under development is based on location technologies, is one of the main areas of activity together with masks, physical distance, and hygienic rules. Many say it might even be the most powerful part of all. This is GNSS at its best. The so-called tracing app could provide a direct personal benefit for each of us all to track your contacts, to get fully personalized information about possible transmission, to be able to get outside your home zone and to stay healthy. No question. The latest big topic was the Corona tracing app, which is in use and helped much in South Korea. In Europe and Germany, we see difficulties and delays. At the moment, 2 months later, there is, in fact, not one single European country with its own comparable tracing app in operation. This is truly disappointing, but all privacy issues have to be coordinated to really protect the individual rights of the citizens. Europe has its own framework and is certainly not first mover, but let's say it like this: Europe is world market leader in personal rights. The protection of health is important good, and it has to be in balance with data privacy issues and as much freedom of movement as somehow possible. So I'd like to draw your attention on what has been achieved in shortest time already. Beyond this app, the overall movement pattern of the population can be recorded by GNSS. Out of the mobility behavior of all individuals, you can extract statistical data with local context and time resolution, so-called activity maps. On this base, the political decision for Germany in mid of March was made: if an exit lock is necessary or an exit limitation shall be imposed. Finally, an exit limitation was considered to be sufficient to interrupt infection chains, and nowadays this less rigid strategy seems to be fruitful in spite. This example makes it quite clear. The accuracy of localization is not a nice-to-have feature. but it's really game-changing, even life-saving. Location matters more than ever, and reliability, availability, and integrity are necessary to distinguish workable solutions for health-critical applications. And one more thing, in crisis, the cooperation is a commandment of the hour. Google Maps visualized the movement pattern of Android user data for a large number of countries affected by Corona to people and politicians. And Google and Apple, as head-to-head competitors, made an unprecedented joint effort for a so-called exposure notification by their mobile operation systems. But of course, we shouldn't only wait and fully trust in the big tech from the States. Be aware, we have the innovation and the mature products right here in Europe. And what is DLR now contributing as an organization in general, and especially as partner of the competition to the topics, for example, healthcare or environmental protection? As we all know, health is an area with a lot of progress in research and development, and this is where the money will be heading to also after the Corona situation. DLR is continuously and heavily engaged in medical topics, especially medical technologies, including their transfer. Let me give just the example of high-end space robots commercialized in the industrial and service robotic domain. Not only technologies were provided to existing companies, but a remarkable number of DLR spin-off came on stage and stay vital in business. In regard of the Satellite Masters competition, the DLR prize in the Copernicus Masters Challenge is covering the area of climate, energy, and health since the very beginning in 2011. This year's challenge is intended to motivate right ideas to fight against Corona. My colleague Gunter Schreier from DLR's Remote Sensing Data Center will tell you more about. And looking at the Galileo Masters, DLR once again is searching for technology improvement for the mission high precision. Thereby, satellite navigation can further increase its value for more reliable, safe localization in context to other persons. Robert Glaner from DLR later on will give you details. My conclusion is that all business is local and the same is health protection. That's why geoinformation and geolocation is more important and more present than ever before. With Copernicus and Galileo, we have the space assets and the data available to everyone. The smart job on this is to use it and improve it. Let's do this together through the competition in cooperation. All the best to you and stay healthy these days. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Fischer. Health is indeed very important for all of us, and I can only relate to that. Thanks all also to our other keynote speakers again for the glimpse into how you as the biggest European players in the space sector handle situations like COVID-19, and especially how space data can support their actions to prevent such times. But now let's dig a little deeper into the competitions itself. We heard already a little bit about it. The Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters submission phase runs from the 1st of April until the 30th of June. So pretty perfect timing to submit your solutions to the competitions is actually now. So you can do this by registering in the secure database, which is which you can find on the respective websites of the competitions. The competitions offer a variety of topic challenges, as you already have heard during our keynotes, and but they also offer topic-less so-called prizes. To choose the right topic challenge, we will now hear directly from our partners what they are looking for in their challenges. So we get started with the first challenge of the Copernicus Masters from ESA, and there we do have Simon Jutz, the head of the Copernicus Space Office at the European Space Agency, with us today. Welcome, Simon, and I hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ines. Thanks for inviting me to this international kickoff meeting. And yes, good morning, everybody. And I'm really amazed how many participants we have here in this video chat. Unfortunately, not face to face, but we talked about this because of the crisis. Yes. In ESA Earth observation, we have a vision that is centered around the concept of a digital twin Earth. an interactive replica of our planet in the digital domain, so in the past, in the present and future, based on an effective integration of various observations. So this can be satellite observation, so remote sensing. It can be in situ data, and of course citizen data like geolocation of cell phones, for instance. Then this combined with artificial intelligence, Earth system science and modeling, we expect to build a digital twin Earth. And our partners in these visions are mainly the European Commission, and here mainly the Directorate General DG Connect, and the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast, ECMWF. Among others, we have also industry behind us. Yeah. So this is an idea. The Commission is part of this initiative. The Commission, in some other places, it's also called Destination Earth. And that's why we had then the idea to also have a challenge, an ESA challenge in the Copernicus Master. If you go to the next slide, so what we want is to stimulate applications from you which combine artificial intelligence and big data. And this from Copernicus Sentinel data and other Earth observation data to provide a forecasting on the impact of climate change and responding to societal challenges. And these societal challenges, and this was, by the way, of course, defined this challenge long before the COVID-19 crisis, could be, but it fits somehow quite well because it could be smart cities, so greening of cities, where what will happen in the future, bike lanes, many different things. There could be food security, harvest prediction, forecasting, health issues. You just heard at the very beginning from Josef Aschbacher about respiratory problems in areas where there's a high industrial gas pollutions, tourism, leisure, when to go to the beach, or what is happening, coastal monitoring, for instance, what will happen in the future with sea level rise, how far the flooding is endangering infrastructure on the coast, changes of the coast itself, where maybe in the future you have to make some, you have to build some something to avoid any destruction of infrastructure. Of course, in this challenge, and since we are in this crisis period, it could be also the monitoring and the forecasting of the recovery of the economical situation in Europe, in the world. That could be air traffic, use of the reuse of recreational areas, or the change of citizens, the behavioral change thanks to the crisis, maybe less traffic in the future and so on. So there are many possibilities what you can actually track with a model of the digital twin Earth. And of course, we understood that what ESA is trying to get with the digital twin Earth is a huge system which includes also a lot of modeling, and we don't expect now one app which does this all. The app must concentrate on one particular domain, obviously, and we are looking how innovative is this app, and if it's technological feasible. So if we are not only judging it's mature, it doesn't have to be completely mature and functioning. That's what I want to say. So we look more in an innovative way of using Earth observation and in situ data to model a very specific part of this. Now coming to the prizes, the prize pool. If you show the next slide there, so the winner will get 10,000 euro as a cash prize. Who wins this one? And we will also provide a voucher of 10,000 euro worth of commercial data sets from the Copernicus contribution missions in the Copernicus data warehouse. So this is kindly offered by the European Commission to provide this. I think that's all for the moment. I'm here now to answer questions, if I understood well.
Yes, indeed, Simon. So I think everybody should hear me again. So we have like a short Q&A session now, and I see that there are already some questions in. So maybe we get started with this one. What are possibilities to use satellite data in hydrology to use it for research of rivers?
Oh, hydrology data, also in situ data. I assume it.
Yeah, he's not clarifying this. Maybe the person who posted the question can answer the back question from Simon so that we do have a clarification.
Okay. Okay, but in general, of course, we detect a river just with optical data already, and you can see the height of the river, the water on the river. You can work on droughts, and you can see the effect of the rivers to the landscape, of course, because we have more and more flooding and extreme weather phenomena. So this is one thing, and then on ground there is, but this is still in the research field. You can use new technology. There's something on with quantum technology to do this. We are not yet able to do this remote sensing data.
Okay, thank you, Simon. There are two more questions. First question, is there a requirement for the application to be commercially viable? And I will give you the next question as well. For the competition, do we need to propose an idea for an app or actually develop an app?
That's a very good question. Yes, I think also, Ines, you know, we discussed actually this point, how far idea must be mature. The idea is important, and there should be at least a beginning of a developed app, or in the course of this year to develop an app. It doesn't have to be completely working already, as I said before, but it must be technologically feasible. So it cannot be just pure dream. It must have some prototyping showing that this is possible to reach in the next, let's say, within a year time, that it would go on the market or can be promoted. I think this, yeah. So it must be more than an idea. There must be a real idea how to do this app, and the app maybe a prototype with only a few elements working maybe, but it should show some functionality, yes.
Perfect. I think this answers both questions, Simon. Thank you very much for your participation and the time that you took to also answer the questions from our audience. As I said in the beginning, just a quick reminder, if there were more questions, please feel free to put them in, and we will follow up on all of the questions after the event and give you feedback on them. Thanks, Simon.
Okay, thank you.
Well, then we are coming to our next partner in the Copernicus Masters, but also the Galileo Masters, the European Commission. We do have Martina Sinländer with us today. She will introduce the two topic challenges of the European Commission in the Copernicus Masters, but also give like a brief insight into the prizes in the Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters. Martina Sinländer is a policy officer at DG DEFIS B2 in the European Commission, and I'm happy to hand over now to her. She will not be visible through the camera, so she just joins via phone, so therefore you will unfortunately only hear her voice.
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thanks a lot, Ines. Yes, I apologize that we are only on audio contact, but I hope you can hear me. Before I introduce the Commission challenges, let me just give you some challenge and for this competition this year. The situation is a bit different than in the previous year when the Commission, and that was at that time DG GROW, was committed. So for the first time this year, it is the new DG DEFIS which participates in this competition. So we are very young. You might know DG DEFIS exists just since January. And of course, in this new framework, as I said, it's a new situation for us. But there are also some other aspects which are new. So first of all, and this is, I would say, a reflection of a big policy change. The coherence, the closer coherence between Galileo, Copernicus, and the other Earth observation programs, due to the fact that we will have a new legal basis, most probably end of the year. And it is not only that we have one legal basis for all programs, but the spirit is really to create synergies between particular Galileo and Copernicus. So in this way, we conceived also the participation in this year's contract. Then, of course, at least for the Copernicus part, it is the first time that we, if I may say, go regional. So far, Galileo had the regional prizes aspect, which is now new for Copernicus. And we are very glad that we received so far a real strong response in organizing these regional prizes. And we will really see how does the competition goes on. And of course, we want also, perhaps more than in the previous year, really stimulating the entrepreneurial spirit of young startup or young people who have this spirit to use Earth observation for new applications, for new solutions, and of course, what has already been said several times, particular also in the light of the current situation. So the Commission defined two challenges. Ines, I guess you show the slide for the business application challenge.
I did. You can see it now.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we have two challenges, and I would like to give you some explanations on the motivation behind why we defined the first one. So EU space data for new business application. We know from several studies that there is a huge and so far unexploited potential for innovative solutions based on Earth observation data in what is called usually established markets. So it can be insurance, can banking, it can be constructing, whatever. And we would like to stimulate particular with this challenge young startups to come up with creative ideas to build for themselves niches in important markets and to create new business opportunities for them. We have then a very different area. It is the so-called Blue Economy Challenge. Our reasoning behind the definition of this challenge is to make a clear link to, and you know, I guess, all the Commission's New Deal communication, so the very ambitious environmental objective defined by this new Commission, where, of course, everything which concerns ocean, maritime industry, maritime traffic plays a very important role. And since we knew from previous years, there were some single very interesting proposals already presented under this competition, we thought to give a particular impact and a particular importance to this field, and we hope again to get really interesting proposals. It can be environmental tracking, it can be naval construction, it can whatever, transport, logistic, so the area is very broad, but as I said, our wish was to make a clear link to one of the priority that's identified in the Green Deal. So as the prize pool is concerned, the winner would get 10,000 euro cash prizes, but also, of course, the access to data and what Mr. Kaut said this morning. The two winners would get also a ticket to the Copernicus Accelerator program, to the coaching program. The participation of the Commission, and particularly, of course, DG DEFIS in this competition comprises not only the Copernicus side, but also the Galileo side. I guess my colleague Marta will go in detail in the GSA challenges, but as in previous years, we have this year also the Galileo regional prizes. So all in all, when you look at the prize pool, we think it is a rather important and interesting pool. And yes, as all the other colleagues as well, we hope to get very interesting proposals as we did the last years also in this new competition with some new elements we are looking at, of course, with high interest. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Martina. So please stay online to answer some questions from the audience that we have. So first of all, maybe I would like to conclude. So building the bridges between Copernicus, Galileo, and EGNOS communities is, of course, the key to deliver innovative solutions to fight environmental and economic challenges. In your view, as I know that both of the competitions are focusing on both Copernicus and Galileo data, so what are, in your view, the key elements to bring Copernicus and Galileo closer? Maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit.
Sorry, Ines, can you repeat your question? What are the main?
Yeah, what are
I didn't understand.
Key elements in your view to bring Copernicus and Galileo closer, especially when...
Yes, of course. Okay, I understand. Well, the reasoning behind is that these programs have, of course, their unique data sources, of course, but we observe also during the last years that there are more and more applications which use both the Galileo signals and the Copernicus data, in the way that there is really a complementary between, let me say, the information and but also the value that can be used for new applications. So this is really the main idea, to stimulate the use of both data, information, signals, and to create synergies. This is, of course, still a very, very, very young field. There are only few applications, but as I said, we observed also during the competitions, but also in contact with other startups in the other programs, that there is a clear tendency to use both specific data sources but create an added value.
Thank you, Martina. I see there's another question concerning the Blue Economy Challenge. What is the technological readiness level for this specific challenge related to applications?
Well, I think this is this I cannot answer in one or two questions, and it is, since what I tried to explain, the application field is really very broad. So also, of course, there are areas, for example, in environmental tracking. So tracking big ferries, for example. There we have already applications which are more or less ready to go to the market. But there are certainly other areas where the technological level is still perhaps less advanced. Nevertheless, what we would like to see on challenge, but under the other challenge as well, solutions which are very close to the market. So not only prototype solution, but really solutions which have the chance to be implementable in rather short time.
Perfect. Thank you, Martina. And the last question is, could you name the top 3 reasons why participants should apply for the European Commission supported challenges or prizes?
Sorry, again, I did not get the beginning. The 3 main?
Three main reasons for a participant to apply to your European Commission challenges or prizes.
Well, I guess there are a lot of reasons to participate. Well, we think with the definition of 2 rather different challenging areas, we are covering not only very important areas, as I tried to explain, but we tried also to reach out for a large number of startups which have interest really in the most different aspects of the challenges which we defined this year.
Perfect.
And of course, I mean, now since there is an additional incentive to participate, having then the opportunity to participate in a very specific coaching program should also stimulate the participation.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Martina. Maybe also what is interesting is that you can not only participate in a challenge, but also a prize. So you do have a double chance of winning. Maybe this is also something that
Of course, sorry. Of course, this is clear due to the fact that we have this year also the combination between regional challenges and the Commission challenges. This, of course, is a very attractive aspect, which, at least what I said for the Copernicus prizes, is new. Yeah.
Thanks again, Martina, for joining. Then
welcome.
I would go to our next partner. So it's also a challenge in the Copernicus Masters. The partner is BayWa, and I'm happy to introduce you to another outstanding woman in space, Elisabeth Becker-Löffler, who is a senior project manager for digital farming at BayWa.
Hello. So thank you very much for your introduction, Ines. So I'm really happy to give a few insights about BayWa and our Smart Farming Challenge. So BayWa was founded in 1923, and our corporate culture is still based on our cooperative roots. So in the early beginning, BayWa was a cooperative. Today we are leading and trading in service. So especially in Europe, we are the leading company for agricultural goods and energy. So I already named two of our core segments. So it's agriculture, energy, and building materials. Our Smart Farming Challenge is, of course, placed in agriculture department. Today we have approximately 20,000 employees all around the world, so in over 3,000 locations and in more than 40 countries. And worldwide we have 313 affiliate companies, so we have a really broad profile regarding our different core segments, and especially in the agriculture segments. And yeah, we are also a stock listed company. Yeah.
Elisabeth, maybe just 1 second. I don't think that it's your microphone that we hear in the background, but rather the one of Martina. Can you, Martina, if not, could you mute yourself, please? That would be good. Thank you. And sorry. I will go to the next slide then.
Okay. Thank you. So with our BayWa Smart Farming Challenge, we are looking for innovative solutions, and innovation is the core of this challenge. So it's really important for us that it's something new. So please have a look on what products we are already offering, with our affiliates, Farm Facts and Vista, and how your ideas or products or solutions can fit in the existing portfolio and how they can bring more value to our existing portfolio, because that's what we are looking for, to get a more or a wider range of our portfolio, to also get more expertise this year, especially in horticulture, because horticulture is, so we have a lack in smart farming solutions in horticulture. So it's a really interesting and important part of our challenge this year, especially because there are not many existing solutions right now in the market, and we wanted to be the leader in this area. But nevertheless, agriculture, field cultures are still really important for us. So we want to focus on both on agriculture and horticulture. So our prize pool is similar to the last 2 years. So it's a 5,000 cash prize, but I think the more important thing is the mentoring package from BayWa, Farm Facts and Vista. So from BayWa will come especially all the business mentoring, from Farm aspects, especially the software mentoring, and from Vista, of course, all the Earth observation and data processing mentoring. And in this package, I think it's really unique and a really good price compared to the cash price, and that's the thing what brings the value in our price pool. And of course, many startups struggle to get a good sales platform for their products, and with this we can also help with access to our sales platforms via our own BayWa platforms or through Next Farming, for example. And of course, we have a worldwide agribusiness and agri organization networks where also the winners can participate. We can also, when your idea is still in the evaluation phase, we can also provide access to field trials to get a deeper understanding of how we can develop together your idea. And of course, the winner has access to the 10,000 €10,000 worth of commercial data set from the Copernicus contribution mission. And maybe I have to add that is we are especially looking for participants that are already in a prototype or in a product level, so not only in an idea stadium. When you have a really good idea, please apply. We just prefer more mature stadiums, but it doesn't mean that we won't have a look at the idea levels, but it will help to win when you already have an existing product. But even when you won't win, it doesn't mean that we don't get in contact with interesting teams. So even when you have a really good idea, please apply. We still get in contact with other participants that maybe are not the winner in the end, and it can also be that we have a good partnership afterwards. So thank you.
Thank you, Elisabeth. And we go to the Q&A session. I'll quickly switch the slide. So maybe from my side, it's now the third year that BayWa is participating in the Copernicus Masters competition. And based on your experience with the previous winners of your challenges, is the competition ultimately helping sustainable agriculture, and how? What was your experience in the past years?
Of course, we had a really the last 2 years we had really good participants and really great ideas. And a lot of them were focusing on sustainability, like saving water or saving pesticides and things like that. And that is something what is really important for our core business, because smart farming also means for us to reduce the environmental impact of chemicals in the agriculture field, for example.
Thank you. There's another question. Are former Soviet republics covered in the BayWa access program to the field trials?
Yes, why not? So we are open for the whole world. So especially with we had projects already in the whole world. So we just have to find a good way and a good place, and then we can establish field trials.
Another question is BayWa accepting projects that have an ongoing cooperation with institutional partners?
Yes, of course. So we can have different ways to have a partnership or cooperations, and when there's already an existing partnership, we can find a way to work together. Yes, of course.
Is there like, how can new applications support the digital farming in the current days? Referring to COVID-19, I guess.
So regarding COVID-19, so we saw the last month that it's really helpful for the farmers to do a part of their management with the software or online or with the help of satellite data, so that they don't have to travel too much, don't have to get in contact with other persons or things like that. So so the satellite data can help to simplify the whole management on the farms and to gain more information that can be processed in the office and not on the field, for example. So yeah, I think these are the most advantages, to save time and to have more precise management.
Thank you very much, Elisabeth. This was really a good insight into the BayWa challenge, and thanks also for your questions. So we go to the next challenge that we have, and this is the first challenge, Galileo Masters, the European GNSS agency, GSA. So they are a long-standing partner in the Galileo Masters and represent 3 challenges. We already heard from Fiammetta in the beginning a little bit of what their ultimate goal with their 3 challenges is, but Marta Krivanis, the head of the downstream research and development department at GSA, will now give you a broader insight into these 3 topics. And yeah, please welcome Marta together with me. Oh, Marta, we do not hear you yet.
Okay, I hope that now you can hear me.
Yes.
So, good morning once again. It's a real pleasure to join this webinar, and it's really motivating to see the number of attendees and the interest in Galileo Masters this year. So unfortunately, as mentioned already several times today, we are having the meeting remotely. I remember still discussing with Ines to have the meeting in Prague. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I hope that next time we will be lucky and we will meet face-to-face together. I have the pleasure to introduce you the GSA special challenges that we are launching this year. We have launched today. So with the start, I would like to introduce you a bit the GSA. So our agency has got the headquarters in Prague. There are more than 200 people working here from 22 nationalities. We also got different sites around Europe, in France, the Netherlands, and Spain. And for us, for the GSA, space is really technology revolution, and it's changing the way we live, we work, we play. And our role is to make sure that the EU citizens get the most from these European satellite navigation programs like EGNOS and Galileo. If we can go to another slide. I don't know if I can do my slide. Okay. So we, as mentioned already, this year, our idea was to define the prices in a way that they will serve for future generations, for our kids. And what is more important than living in health planet, that being health ourselves and also have some fun in life. And we hope that the next generations will also have opportunity to to live like that, and we hope that these prizes will contribute to it. So first prize is the GSA Space for Fun challenge, as mentioned. So here we are looking for solutions that will exploit Galileo and EGNOS data for gaming, sports, leisure, and tourism. The leisure and gaming market is still growing. It's very popular, and wearables are more and more common in our watch, in different parts of our clothes. And they are enabling us to measure the performances and also monitor, track, and see how we are doing, how fit we are, for example. Also, GNSS and overall the positioning data is used widely in augmented reality games, for example. So we are searching for new ideas, innovative ideas that will exploit the data to have some fun, to be fit, to travel around Europe, and have some nice applications in our pockets. We are searching also not only for usage of Galileo and EGNOS, because as Martina was saying before, now we are focused on synergies. We want to explore and we want to see the contribution overall of space data in innovative applications. So we hope that you will find the room both for eGNSS, but also Copernicus. Another challenge that GSA is running this year is the space for our planet. So in this challenge, we are looking for solutions that will use space data to help overcome climate change, environmental degradation that are pretty worrisome and are existential threat to our children and future generation in Europe, but also worldwide. So here we are looking for solutions that will lead to more environmental friendly living and decision making. And examples of applications can be related to smart mobility, farm to fork strategy, that is very important part of Green Deal policy of European Commission. So, for example, healthy food distribution. We want space data to contribute to zero pollution strategy, and also the way how we are building and renovating in energy and resource efficient ways. Another challenge GSA is managing this year is the space for being safe and healthy. And here, you can believe or not, but we were defining this prize still before the virus came to Europe. So actually we somehow anticipated here, and it's very relevant nowadays. And here with this prize, we are looking for solutions that will use the space data to develop innovative solutions to somehow contribute to stop the virus to spread, to fight against it, to monitor, analyze emergency situation related to COVID, but also overall different natural crises, including the spread of viruses. So these are the three prizes we will award this year. The prize pool, we are offering the cash prize that is worth 10,000 euros for each challenge. And obviously each participant has the possibility to participate then in the accelerator if successful, and of course to potentially be the winner of the overall prize later on if selected by the experts. So this is the prize pool, and we are searching for solutions that will generate benefit for EU citizens, that will be innovative, that will really use EGNOS and Galileo differentiators, and that will have the market potential, so that there is behind the idea clear willingness to commercialize the product after. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Marta, for your presentation. It was nice to hear that you at GSA actually focus on the topic of the younger generation, so the children actually. And do you have like a specific reason why to focus on the younger generation especially? And how does all these challenges are linked? So we heard from the quote from Mr. Kautz and also from Fiammetta a little bit more about it, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit further.
Yeah, so actually for us, as mentioned, this is a bit worrisome what is happening to our planet nowadays. And we want to contribute to the Green Deal policy of European Commission to make sure that our children will breathe the fresh air, will be able to eat healthy food and stay healthy overall. And in the meantime, that they will have possibility to have some fun and play in a safe way. So obviously, for example, in this gaming industry, we cannot forget about, for example, cybersecurity that apparently GNSS can also contribute to. So there are many aspects, but we are thinking that we've got still what is happening now, all this climate change, and we know that, as mentioned, space is really technological revolution. There is a huge potential for innovative solutions that will use the data. And we want to contribute to that, and we want our children to live better, let's say.
Thank you. There is a specific question for the Space for Planet Challenge. So what is the expected readiness of an application that you expect for this one?
Well, actually, the main idea of this competition, we are open to any TRL. We are not defining it in our specification of the prize. So it can start with an idea, though the closer to market, the better. So then the market potential is assessed, also taking this into account, but we are not excluding ideas only, even without prototype, because when we see from the application that there is a great idea, great team behind, motivation and market potential, we want to give a chance, we want to support and hope that the product at the end will be developed with our support. So we are not defining TRL of the solution. It can be any.
Perfect. So thank you very much, Marta, for your contribution. And
thank you.
Now we do have the chance. I should maybe switch my camera on. We do have the chance to learn something about the Galileo Masters itself from a former winner of the Galileo Masters in 2019 now. So I'm glad to welcome the overall winner of 2019 and the regional winner of Austria, Johannes Schuster, with his company Artificial Intelligence. So they are making use of tracking information of aircrafts by analyzing air traffic data and predicting future situations, delays, and related operational processes at and around airports. Hi, Johannes. Welcome.
Hi, Ines, and thank you very much for your kind words.
So this session is actually thought to be a Q&A session together with Johannes for all the potential participants to hear from our former winner, how he succeeded in the Galileo Masters, what were his experiences, etc. So please feel free to type in some questions for him and learn from his past experience. Maybe I can start with one question. So what major challenges are you solving with your software application, and how did COVID-19 affect your company and the aviation sector as a whole?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question, and also thanks for having us here. At Artificial Intelligence, just to introduce very briefly, we founded the company 2.5 years ago. Within an incubation center from the European Space Agency here in Austria, with a very core mission to establish a business intelligence system that is running on mainly on GNSS data that are transmitted from aircraft mainly positioning data twice per second. And yeah, to increase air traffic capacity, also identify congestions at and around airports, and optimize the flight trajectories to have actually an effect on the overall impact that the aviation sector is causing by the burn of fossil fuel emissions. So why is this actually important? The aviation sector as a whole, before the crisis, let's put it that way, because currently we see another scenario, because most of the aircraft are actually parked on the runway surfaces where they're actually taking off and landing. But actually, a lot of airports around Europe and across the world, especially hub airports, were suffering from air traffic congestions and bottlenecks, especially during peak times. And this is, of course, not optimal when the aircraft is actually spending time in holding patterns and detours, or during the taxi out or taxi in process in taxi stops and queues. So actually burning emissions where there's actually no need basically to burn additional amounts of fuel. And this is exactly the point where our software application comes into place. We identify these congestions and problems, bottlenecks, and create a platform that helps all stakeholders, mainly airports, ANSPs, and airlines, to know where are the problems and how can we actually solve these problems jointly together. Currently, of course, air traffic is in a ramp-up process. We already see some air traffic that is slightly recovering. Midterm or long-term speaking, of course, air traffic will play a fundamental role in the whole economic process. The thing is just how can we actually mitigate to these problems? How can we utilize the infrastructure at the airports, like the runway? It's very difficult to build a new runway or a new airport. How can we actually make use most efficiently of the current resources and infrastructure that we have? This is exactly the point where our software comes into place.
Thank you. How did actually the Galileo Masters, so in terms of the Austria challenge that you won together with the business incubator that you're working with, how did it develop your idea, your solution, and especially, of course, your company?
Yeah, sure. First of all, it's very important for a startup and especially for a young company to have support and to build, first of all, an MVP, a product that we can show to customers, to clients, that is actually working, and also to gain proof. For that, of course, it's very important to work together with incubation centers, with different applications. Also, the Masters Challenge helped us a lot to also gain to gain momentum, to reach out to more market participants, and to show that our solution is actually working. Also to scale up our development process. This is very important. I think basically, and the fundamental aspect of these challenges is always how can we actually make use and utilize space information that we generate from the GNSS systems, for instance, and make it useful for business, and also helping the community to benefit out of it, because the aviation industry, of course, is burning fuel, but how can we actually reduce the impact that is caused by the overall industry in the future?
Thank you very much. So this actually, of course, leads us to the next steps that you are planning. Could you give us a brief insight into that one?
Yeah. Well, sure. I mentioned that we are actually identifying problems and congestions in all the areas where you have kind of a process where it leads to, for instance, additional fuel consumption during the taxi process, queues, and so on. This is very important to have a quantitative measurement. But at the end, it's also very important to bring all the different stakeholders in aviation together on the table, like air traffic control, like the airport, and also the airlines, because the airlines are actually flying the aircraft. So a problem is usually not just referring to one stakeholder, but to many. So building and identifying these problems is one thing. AI can help in these things, but what is most importantly is that we build a platform where all stakeholders can work together and show these problems and its causes so that they can be solved in the end of the day. And yeah, regarding these issues, we are now working on and building our solution further.
The partner that you were working with from Austria, how does he help you still? Let's say, because of course 2019 is already passed, and you won the challenge last year in September. You already knew at least, and were announced finally then in December last year. Are you still working with them? How's your relationship with them?
Well, we're still in close contact with the incubation center. Of course, we are now an alumni, so after 2 years, the incubation period ends. But it's still very valuable to ask, of course, technical questions, also business-related questions, and also get connected with people around the world and Europe. Therefore, it's very valuable. Yeah.
I see there's another question from a participant that wants to know if you can survive these times as a company.
Yeah, thanks for this question. I mean, of course, there's airlines are actually grounded, but the other thing is burning emissions or burning fuel always has a reciprocal effect on the balance sheet. So whenever you burn additional fuel because of queues, because of long waiting times, you actually want to get rid of it. So our software actually helps in the ramp-up process also to reduce overall fuel consumption for airlines and also make use of the current infrastructure for airports. So in the long run, it's actually very important to now use the software to also reduce the operational costs. And therefore, of course, the crisis is there. We now focus mainly on product development. We also work together with bigger clients from ANSPs, airports, and also airlines together. So we're already in the market, and of course, we will certainly survive this crisis very well, and sooner or later the air traffic comes back, and then they have an optimal solution ready.
It's good to hear that you're positive and look into the future with a positive mind, I would say. Thank you very much, Johannes.
Thank you very much, Ines.
So jumping from one of our former winners of the Galileo Masters to the next Galileo Masters Challenge, which is offered by the DLR. We already heard that Robert Klane, head of the branch office of the DLR Technology Marketing in Oberpfaffenhofen, which is actually close to my office here. He will now tell us a little bit more about what they are exactly looking for in their challenge. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, hello everybody. This is Robert Klane from the German Aerospace Center. Thanks a lot for the invitation and to get the opportunity to get in contact with such a huge number of colleagues. So I think Corona can't stop us, but stimulates us. It's a very promising signal, I think. First of all, about the German Aerospace Center, DLR. It's just a public institution in aeronautics and space research. It's an institution of the Federal Republic of Germany, and it combines scientific work and technical developments, also with expertise in many other application fields, especially in energy, transport, security, and digitalization. So the DLR is not purely research, but it is to a large extent guided by the industry's demand for innovative products and services, especially bridged by the technology marketing division I belong to. DLR nowadays has around about 8,400 people at 26 locations. Headquarters are in Cologne. I'm just based in Munich, Oberpfaffenhofen, which are strong, with a strong focus on the space applications like satellite navigation, like Earth observation, like robotics, and many other research topics, but also with the German Space Operations Center on site. Just to move over to our this year's prize. Last year we had an enormous success, I would say, with AI, artificial intelligence in navigation. So we tried again with a fresh new topic to even get more submissions for our this year's proposed challenge, Mission High Precision, in short words. And the long version is just about cybersecurity, about safety and high accuracy that meet automation and autonomy. So we just take the core advantages of Galileo, like reliability, like resilience, precision, and move it over to the future applications, especially towards the automation and autonomy of systems in traffic and transport, but also in the Internet of Things. And as you might know, the borders between autonomy and automation, they were more and more blurring because it's all in motion. But in general, we just figured out that the Corona crisis will drive and push forward the automation of systems in general, especially in transport and traffic. So there's a lot of innovation around. It's starting from shared autonomy, from remote control or assisted or piloted systems, up to highest level of full autonomy, and we were just moving in this sphere between automation and autonomy. We would like to overcome existing problems and limitations together with you and your ideas. And we all know the smarter and the more secure the systems are, based on GPS, based on Galileo especially, the more trustworthy and the more valuable the systems are. So we just focus on real-world data and existing space infrastructure for our applications. And these real-world data for us is a driver of the digital world also. Both worlds interact together. So there is not one and only decisive criteria to win our prize, to win our challenge, but it can be a mix between technology and applications. It can be brand new, fresh ideas on a very raw level, or it can be even mature developments, which we bring to optimization together. The price itself is just the engineering support to further develop, to build the system, to test it, to simulate the system, to work on the implementation of the system together with you. So we just can offer a kind of contribution in kind to our winner. It's a 5-month voucher for DLR services to aid the further development. And we had good success in the last 12 years with this offering and came to products together with you. So this is just our offering for the winner to move forward to the feasibility and realization of his idea and really support him scientifically, but also technically, maybe even by business development. So Ines, I think I'm just done, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
I'm sorry, I just noticed that I didn't unmute my microphone. I already started to talk to you. Okay, sorry.
Okay, once again.
Yes, I just mentioned that as a long-term partner in the Galileo Masters, of course, you do have a lot of experience with former winners that you were working with, and maybe you can give us a little bit of an example of what ideas have been handed in, what ideas have been developed together with you at DLR, and what is the normal process when a winner wins your challenge. So what happens is getting in touch with you to discuss how the voucher can be used. Maybe you can elaborate that a little bit.
Just to give one example, it's the product and company Vadasee. It comes from Italy, from the La Sapienza University in Rome. And these guys had a bright idea about a GNSS-based earthquake monitoring sensor. But it was not about high level, high accuracy and high cost GNSS, but it was a low cost, low tech sensor they just proposed. And we tried to develop a system out of this by a single frequency GNSS receiver, and we just could do this together, and we just simulated this. We don't have so many earthquakes in Germany, but we built a shaker for this. It was mounted on the roof of one of our facilities, and we just simulated this, and the company was able to make a product out of this, which they sell nowadays via the global player Leica Geosystems in Switzerland. So we just closed the so-called innovation chain and gave, I think, valuable support, and there's a good result out of this. So you can just purchase like a Geosystems, no advertisement, but that's just a fact. You can just purchase a simple technology for a very, very critical task, earthquake monitoring by GNSS. And how we just started and kicked off this project, of course, it's all about exchange. We made a telco, we talked about their needs, their priorities, what we could provide as support from DLR side, what could be a kind of joint project, how to set up this, like engineers do it. And in the very end, it was not only an exchange of knowledge and competence, but it was also an exchange of personnel. There was a researcher from La Sapienza who was doing his master thesis during the project, also with a stay of 3 months here in Munich, Oberpfaffenhofen at DLR.
Thank you, Robert. I see that there are more questions concerning your challenge. First of all, is there a requirement for the application to be commercially viable?
No, not at all. We're just open for public sector, for large corporations, but also startups or small and medium enterprises. And if they were just heading to the market, welcome.
Perfect. Another question, can there be access to DLR data? Specifically, it's asking for Tandem X for the development of a project.
Yeah, if this data is just first of all used by for scientific, for pre-product development, I think we can provide a lot of data. At least we have a lot of data and we know how to master it. So this could be also kind of contribution to the development of the winner's idea.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Robert, for your time and for answering the questions, and also listening to me, even if I was talking to myself. No,
yeah,
thanks a lot.
thank you to you.
The DLR actually
see you soon, hopefully.
is not only interested in the GNSS topics or the Galileo Masters, but of course also into Earth observation. And I do see Gunther Schreier already in the camera. So for this, of course, we do have a topic challenge in the Copernicus Masters, which will be presented to you now by Gunther Schreier, who is Deputy Director of the German Remote Sensing Data Center at DLR. And welcome, Gunther. Oh, I see now probably you do have the same problem that perfect. No, we do not hear you yet. I do see that you're speaking, but I do not hear you. Maybe now?
Oh, I think it works, right?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Thank you, Ines, and thank you, Robert, for introducing DLR to our audience here. As mentioned, I have the pleasure to work as a deputy director for the German Remote Sensing Data Center. The very long name in Germany for this is Deutsches Fernerkundungsdatenzentrum, abbreviated DFD. This is an institute of the German Aerospace Center, like Robert in Oberpfaffenhofen is one of the places. DFD has about 230 staff, and together with another institute there, the Remote Sensing Technology Institute, we form the Earth Observation Center of DLR. Now, what makes Copernicus interesting for DLR? What is DFD's involvement in Copernicus? Well, in essence, it's all about the avalanche of remote sensing data, the wealth of information delivered by all these Copernicus Sentinel satellites. We receive these Sentinel satellites with our own antenna dishes worldwide, in Germany and worldwide. We process it, some of them with algorithms and software developed in-house, and we archive and deliver the data to users nowadays, of course, via internet. Caring for data and information generated by these Sentinel satellites and National Earth Observation satellites, and also satellites from all our partners, is therefore one of our core duties. Since the early 90s, we have been involved in European missions. It started with ERS-1 and then ERS-2, followed by Envisat, and these are now the Copernicus satellites in Europe. We receive Sentinel-1 data with our station in Neustrelitz. Amongst others, we're taking care of maritime surveillance with radar data. We acquire Sentinel-5 data with our station in North Canada and Inuvik, and we are appointed by EC and ESA as one of the processing and archiving centers for Sentinel-1, Sentinel-3, and Sentinel-5 precursor. DFD has also 3 departments which are caring to extract geoscientific and socioeconomic information from Earth observation data. My colleagues from these science departments use Copernicus data as well as data from national and international partner satellites. We develop algorithms, systems, and services for monitoring ecological change on the Earth's surface, and we use this data to support the rapid mapping of natural disasters and humanitarian crises. And we use Earth observation and in situ data to deliver long-term and up-to-date analysis of trace gases and the various layers of the atmosphere, checking specifically what these means for human health. In times of the corona crisis, the latter is, of course, a very important issue, a very actual topic, which attracts global attention. Next slide, Ines, please. The master themes of DLR are aligned with our concerns in global environmental and societal change, aligned with the structure of the application departments of our center. In line with the last year's competition of the Copernicus Masters, we're looking for innovative solutions using Earth observation data to check and to better manage our environment and the sustainable use of our limited natural resources. Closely linked to this is the improved management of energy, or say better, the improved and safe management of renewable energy. How can space data help here? This is an issue. Both themes, environment and energy, are of course intertwined with human health. For instance, poisonous trace gases being a result of the carbon-based energy cycle, and human health could also be affected by natural effects such as solar radiation, or, as we painfully experience nowadays, the spreading of bacteria and viruses. Of course, it seems to be evident that how we treat, or better mistreat, our environment and use our resources is giving favorable conditions to the rise and growth of pandemics. Next slide, please. Looking for innovative ideas for well-suited application scenarii, we encourage all kinds of contribution in these 3 themes: environment, energy, and health. Safeguarding the environment and fostering human health is not necessarily a fruitful business for startup companies. nothing you can get immediate profit. We therefore also value non-profit and academic proposal for all three themes. Amongst others, it is important on how the ideas contribute to increase the sustainable management of the environment, the long-term well-being of our societies, and the wealth of the human beings. DLR offers the winner a cash prize of 5,000 euro. The winning ideas are also open to discuss their topics with our experts on these themes. And on top, there is an EC grant to access commercial data set worth of 10,000 euros in order to realize the prize. And as Robert mentioned, of course, there's also a chance to get specific DLR Earth observation data. Next slide, please. Like in the recent years, we are looking forward to receive innovative applications of Earth observation for Copernicus. We're eager to see to which extent they address the new challenges we are now facing in this exceptional global crisis. Many thanks. I'm open for further questions.
Thank you, Gunther. Maybe I switch my camera on now so that at least you see if I speak and to hear me as well. There's a question actually from earlier that was linked to your challenge. Therefore, let me quickly read it out to you. Marine pollution is traditionally considered as a coastal challenge. Do marine pollution-oriented solutions fit the DLR priorities?
Yeah, absolutely. I remind a winner in the recent years who was addressing seaweed as an important ecological resource, but also threatened by environmental pollution. So coastal near applications, may it be vegetation, fisheries, would also fit into the environmental theme of DLR.
As a founding partner of the Copernicus Masters, also very long-term partner, and not only in the Galileo Masters but also the Copernicus Masters, how do you see the ever-increasing correlation of Galileo and Copernicus?
I guess if you go for Earth observation application, the foremost, most important parameter you need to know is where you are exactly. So most of the onto Earth applications of Earth observation require a precise location, where you are, where is your Earth observation data pixel. So it's always linked to some kind of navigation and some kind of Copernicus or GNSS or whatever navigation. So knowing where you are and where something happens is of course an important issue. Earth observation gives you just, it is something happened, but precise location needs to come from navigation satellites.
Another question here, are purely algorithmic solutions for data retrieval and trend assessments accepted as focus for the project?
No, not at all. It could also be the place that the algorithms are already been invented or are commonplace, but just how to put them together in a kind of service or maybe business or nice environmental application. This brilliant idea is also a very valuable contribution. So don't think just you have to invent the very innovative new algorithm. The algorithms might already be there, but somebody has missed to put them together to a right service and to the right application.
Last question. There is someone who wants to learn about the DLR and if the DLR is using hyperspectral remote sensing technology.
So the question was how to learn about this from DLR?
No, if the DLR is using it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have one sensor currently on space on the International Space Station, DESIS. This is a joint venture with an American company. So we are receiving currently hyperspectral data, and we will launch in a hopefully not too distant future also a dedicated satellite NMAP and hyperspectral satellite. And yes, the Earth Observation Center has several groups addressing evaluation of hyperspectral data. So hyperspectral data proposals and ideas are very much welcomed.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Gunther. That was very
Thank
quick and easy. Yeah, having learned so much about the DLR challenge, we are now focusing on another challenge in the Copernicus Masters, which is presented by Agnieszka Lukaszczyk, Senior Director for European Affairs at Planet. Welcome, Agnieszka. And yeah, she will tell us a little bit about how Planet sees change and wants to change the world. Welcome.
Thank you, Ines. Very excited to be here. Hello, everyone. I know it's very difficult to be in front of a computer for so long and to listen to so many speeches, so I'm going to try to make it short. It is a difficult time indeed. We are in different worlds that we have been just a few months ago. And but we have to remember that regardless of the pandemic is here, the sustainability issues will not go away. So obviously, coronavirus has had a big impact on the world, but we have lots of sustainability issues that we need to still remember that are happening. Our house is on fire, folks, and we need to take care of it. This is the only house we have right now, and it is in our all best interest to make sure that we have healthy air to breathe, clean water to drink, forests and nature around, and biodiversity. And this is why at Planet we wanted to look at these sort of things. So, but let me tell you about Planet really quick. I think many of you may know already who we are. We are a private satellite company with the largest constellation of satellites in the world right now. We have launched over 400 satellites. We have just a little bit under 200 operational right now, with 2 constellations, DOVs, which are optical satellites with 3.5 meter resolution, and they are scanning the Earth every day, and thus are giving us a view on every place on Earth every day, which is quite revolutionary, really, because we can really monitor change and see what is happening from day to day to day. So things like deforestation, things like movement of refugees, things like movement of ships, natural disasters. We can really see what happens before, during, and after, which is quite important. In addition, we have 15 SkySat satellites. Those are very high resolution satellites with a resolution of 70 centimeters, soon to be 50. And those are satellites that we can task. We can also take videos with them. So with DOFs, they're quite complementary. But I'd like to tell you, next slide, please. Just a little bit about numbers, because numbers always speak a lot. So we have had 25 successful launches. We are going to have 2 launches in just the next few weeks, one on SpaceX and one on Vega with Arianespace. So our fleet is going to grow. We are end-to-end company, which means that we are doing everything in-house. We are doing R&D, we're manufacturing our satellites, we are operating them, and we are also processing the data. We also own ground stations around the world, currently 44, and we're producing a lot of images. When you see the amount of images that we're producing, it is really a huge amount. And so this is why we need your help to do something useful with this imagery that we're providing. Next slide, please. Next slide. But let me tell you about our challenge. We want to make sure that this data that we're using, we can use to the positive benefit of the planet Earth. We also strongly believe that what you cannot see, you cannot change. So by seeing what is happening on Earth every day, we're getting an awareness that is allowing us and the decision makers to make better decisions. So we want you guys to help us use this data and turn into something really positive. So we're really looking into new innovative ideas that will address sustainability issues, maybe sustainable development goals, maybe climate change, maybe loss of biodiversity, anything that is going to make our home a little bit cleaner, a little bit healthier, is something that we are interested in. Next slide, please. So here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to apply because I'm sure many of you will. If you haven't done so, you should do it immediately because the time is running and because you have a chance to win a lot of really cool stuff with us. So you're going to get 6 months of free access to our data. This is a value of 125,000 euros, which is quite substantial. And you can use both PlanetScope and SkySat imagery, which should give you a really, really good data source on top of Sentinel data that you will also, of course, get. We are going to help you on the business and technical side. So we're going to consult with you. We're going to train you to make sure that you are using the data properly, but also that you're incorporating it into your business idea so you can actually eventually make money out of it. Once you have a first customer, which we're going to help you to get, we are going to get a contract with you, and that should help you to move forward. We are also going to send you to San Francisco to our annual conference, Explore, which is happening every year in the fall. This year, unfortunately, this conference is going to be a virtual conference because of the current situation, but hopefully the following year, we are going to be able to bring you there, and you can visit San Francisco. You can speak to the brightest minds in the world in Earth observation, and you will of course get a possibility to access the other data sets from the Copernicus contributing missions worth 10,000 euros. That is very, very cool as well, and that should really help you to grow. Next slide, please. So yeah, I'm just going to wrap it up. I mean, I know it's these competitions are often people think that they don't have any chance to win, and they think it's very complex. But I really encourage you to do it. We are going to hear from our winner just in a few minutes, from what I understand. So our winner last year has won the overall Copernicus Masters Challenge. So as you can see, we are choosing the best ones. So come join Planet, apply, and let's change the world together. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnieszka. I will quickly switch my camera on as well so you do see me again. Yeah, there is already a question for you here. Planet's data size is huge. So what you already said, 125,000 euro in worth of data sets. To develop a showcase, the applicant needs access to these data before the selection. Is there any possibility to access the data beforehand?
So this is a good question. It is something, so for instance, if a lot of people will apply, which we hope a lot of people will apply, it is quite difficult to give access to all of these people and to make sure that this access is not being abused. But we have certain free trials that we can perhaps consider, but I would like to see those applications to be completed first, because there's lots of enthusiasm, but we want to see a true commitment first.
So this means that whoever is interested can, of course, also contact you during the submission phase to see and elaborate their idea together with you. Is that?
They could potentially do it, but like I said, their application has to be completed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Also, what does an applicant for the Planet Challenge need to have to stand out in your own eyes, in your own view?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, put a little bit of effort into your application. I remember, last year and a couple years ago, we've had a lot of applications. Some of them were really excellent, but some of them you could just tell that somebody did them in 5 minutes and didn't really put a lot of effort into it. And, the prize is big, and also the commitment needs to be big. So really think about the questions, and don't just think of generic answers, but really think of how you can make a difference. So there are a couple of things. You need to really demonstrate that you are going to be using Planet data and that you're going to be using Copernicus data. I mean, this is really a requirement. Please make sure to demonstrate that your idea is addressing sustainability issues. This is something that is important to us. We do so even if you have a brilliant idea that is not unfortunately relevant to sustainability, that is not going to work. And just think outside of the box. You know, Planet is a sort of a new space company that we are outside of kind of out of the box company. We like daring ideas. We like interesting ideas. So you know, shoot for the moon. I mean, surprise us, shock us even. You know, don't be like everybody else. Be different.
So your winner from last year, they did shock you, obviously, otherwise you wouldn't have chosen them and they wouldn't have become the overall winner of the Copernicus Masters. So
exactly.
thank you, Agnieszka, for giving me that introduction of them. We will now have Nadine Gahlen with us. She's the co-founder and CEO of Green City Watch. That's their company name, and they measure the quality of urban nature. So please welcome together with me and Nadine. She will unfortunately only be available via phone, and she cannot join with the webcam. So Nadine, please could you let me know that you're already there and you hear us and we hear you?
Good morning, I'm here, great to be here.
Perfect, thank you so much. Maybe you can first start quickly and tell us a little bit about yourself, about the company, and about the idea that you won the Planet Challenge with, and the overall winner of the Copernicus Masters.
Yeah, so Green City Watch was founded by 4 Earth scientists. We all met each other while we were studying for our masters. We had all since graduated, and we got back together after we had all kind of gone our separate ways, really with the intention of doing kind of like an academic hobby project. And doing that, we won a number of challenges, including the Copernicus Masters and Planet C Change the World Challenge. And that for us was really kind of, you know, the kick in the butt that we needed to really take this further. And essentially the idea is that all of us are, you know, avid outdoors loving people, avid hikers, climbers, you name it. But all of us live in a city, much like, you know, 80% of Europe does. And even though we loved going to these beautiful places, you know, whenever we could, this is where we lived and we worked. And we became increasingly concerned that, you know, these green spaces that we would go to, these little oases in the cities that we lived in, were rapidly disappearing. We got a chance to collaborate with the University of Amsterdam, and Amsterdam's the city where we're all from. And we actually found that in the past 13 years, that green space in Amsterdam had actually decreased by 11%. And this is quite a lot if you consider how dense and how small the city of Amsterdam is. And that really got us thinking, you know, all of us were earth scientists, all of us were trained in remote sensing and understanding, you know, global environmental changes. And we started thinking, what if we could, you know, literally zoom into the city, which, you know, Planet data allows us to do, and really kind of assess green space from a much more high resolution perspective. And specifically, not only could we look at the quantity of the green space that we're losing, but in fact, you know, if we're losing quantity and if cities are getting increasingly denser, what could we do to really use this high resolution Earth observation to measure the quality of green space? So that's what we've been doing ever since.
So yes, you said that the Copernicus Masters, and especially winning the Planet Challenge, was the kick in the butt that you needed. I really like that. How did Planet especially help you in achieving your goals and becoming successful?
So I think it's, I mean, first and foremost, just being recognized that this is an idea. I mean, I'm an ecological engineer, specifically in urban ecology myself, and I've always struggled with, you know, you're not a full ecologist, you're not a full engineer, and it's the same way kind of with Earth observation when using it for urban settings. I mean, that is quite novel and quite new. So just having that recognition and that validation from a partner like Copernicus, from a partner like Planet. I think that was huge, just to even, you know, really help us realize that this idea was important and that it was in demand. And I think that's really what kickstarted us and gave us the confidence to then, you know, start locking in our first international clients, together with having the access to the free data, both through the Copernicus program and then later through Planet, was pretty huge, because having access to free data as a small company really allows you to build, you know, really impressive demos that you can use to lock in clients that you otherwise wouldn't be able to put in that investment.
What would be the most important piece of advice that you would give to applicants of the Copernicus Masters, and of course especially to the Planet Challenge?
I think it's really understanding your mission and really being absolutely, you know, die hard about your mission. I think that's eventually what helped set us apart, is that we are a super mission driven company above everything else. And that's something that I think Planet has helped us with too, is, you know, how can we really grow a mission driven company into something that's more of a commercial success as well? Because at the end of the day, you need to be commercially successful to be able to take that mission forward. So, but I think having that mission to start with is probably the best place to start, especially if you're interested in joining this competition.
Thank you very much, Nadine. This was really helpful for our participants, I guess. Thanks a lot for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Another Copernicus Masters partner is the BMWI, so the German Federal Ministry for Transport and Digital Infrastructure. So with Christiane Hohlmeister, who is today represented by Alexandra Förster from the DLR, they are supporting the Copernicus Masters with their own digital transport challenge. And I hand over to Alex now. Perfect.
Yeah, hello, good morning, everybody. And thank you, Ines, for your introduction and the opportunity to present our digital transport challenge here today. Unfortunately, my headset construction didn't work, so I have to use my telephone. I hope that you all can understand me. Yeah, I will start now with a few words on who we are and what our challenge is about. The challenge has been issued by the German Federal Ministry of Transport and Digital Infrastructure, which is in German Bundesministerium für Verkehr und digitale Infrastruktur, abbreviated BMWI, and is supported by the DLR Space Administration, as Ines said before. The BMWI addresses issues related to transport and mobility, digital matters and spatial development in Germany. And it is responsible for the German participation in the Copernicus program design, along with the European Commission and other European players. So coming now to our challenge description. Ines, could you put on the next slide? Thank you. Yeah, we are looking for solutions that use Copernicus data to solve major challenges faced by transport systems today. Yeah, so to give you an idea, our areas of interest include, for example, quality and safety of infrastructure, or impact of transport on the environment, such as emissions or oil dependency. Maritime safety, like, for example, safe shipping routes considering fuel and weather forecasts. Or we are interested in logistics. For example, we are looking for concepts to deliver goods as fast as possible, taking cost, noise, or pollution into consideration. And as Agnieszka just said before, we are now in a complete different world. And that's why we are also interested in measuring or identifying the impact of the coronavirus on today's transport systems, like, for example, on air or rail traffic, or having a closer look at what is happening at border crossings today. And last but not least, we are really looking forward to your own ideas. So coming to the next slide, our prize pool is, I think, this year very promising. If you became the winner of our digital transport challenge, you will win 5,000 euros in cash. You will get 6 months access to our cloud computing platform Code.de, which is more or less similar to the DS platforms, and advanced training. You'll also be invited to upload and share your algorithm on Code.de. And yeah, by the way, we are offering a Code.de webinar tomorrow. You will find the link on the Copernicus website under News and Events. I think the webinar starts around 1:30. So coming back to our prices, you will get access to our business networks, which means we will invite you to workshops, help you with your questions, or introduce you to relevant partners. You will also be invited to present your idea at the National Copernicus Forum, which takes place every 1.5 years in Berlin. This is a really big event with about 500 participants. This year, 2 of our finalists would have had the chance to present the idea right after high-level speakers of the ministries, ESA and the DLR. But unfortunately, due to the coronavirus, the event had to be postponed. So who knows, next year the stage is open for you. Yeah, and you have the possibility to access 10,000 euros worth of commercial data sets. So we are really looking for your transport-related ideas. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me or Ines. We are really happy to help you. So stay healthy and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Alex, for your participation. And we quickly go over to the Q&A session that we have. You mentioned that, of course, as the topic of the challenge is to deal with digital transport. So the innovative solutions that you're looking for, are they? Where do you see the link to the current situation? So COVID-19. Do you have specific ideas on what you're looking for there, or is this rather broad?
No, this is really open. I think there was a lot happening at the borders with a lot of traffic jams. Or if you have a look at the airports, they aren't, there's less traffic now at the airports. I think there's quite a lot what you can monitor or analyze by using satellite data with respect to the current situation.
So you're not, as I understand that you're referring to borders and transport across borders, etc. So as the BMBI is a German institution, you're not only looking for German applications, but coming from all over the world as well, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. We're looking for worldwide applications. It's not focused on Germany.
Okay, perfect. And you also mentioned the business network that people will be able to get to know. When does that usually start? So you know, we do have the submission phase, which ends on 30th of June, and you will have chosen your winner by latest of September. Does it start before the award ceremony in December or after? Yeah. What is the normal process? How do you stay in touch with your winner? And yeah.
I think we can start in September as soon as the winner is chosen.
Perfect.
So there's no need to wait till December.
So usually you get in touch with them and start right away and working and helping them to develop their solution further together with you.
Yeah, it's more about finding the right partners to further develop their ideas or to get in contact with new people.
Mm-hmm. Perfect, thank you. Are there any other events of this year where you say, as the winner of last year would have participated this year, that would be of interest for the winners, that you plan, maybe also virtual, they could participate in?
Yeah, I think that's quite difficult to say at the moment because a lot of events are being postponed. Actually, I think that the Copernicus Forum is the main point of interest. Yeah, so I think at the moment we will leave it by the Copernicus Forum.
Okay. There's another question that is specifically asking for more details of your challenge and what problems you are specifically looking to solve.
Yeah, the ones I already mentioned, but we are really looking forward to your ideas, and we are really open here. So it can be your idea can be related to I don't know, to secure bikeways, to traffic jams, to finding the real parking slot, to infrastructure monitoring, to ground motion monitoring, to flat floods when it's not clear if the roads are accessible. So I think digital traffic is really a big field.
Perfect. I think this should at least answer a little bit the problems that he was referring to in his questions that you're addressing with the Digital Transport Challenge. Thank you again, Alex, for joining us and for being available for the questions as well.
Thank you for the opportunity. So bye.
Bye. So the next challenge that will be presented is also coming from the BMPI, but this is the challenge in the Galileo Masters, so with a specific focus on the public calculated service. And there I would like to welcome Timo Hoffmann, who is also working at the BMPI and who will give you a brief insight into the challenge of the BMPI now. Timo? It seems that Timo is currently not available. Maybe we then go to, as I see that the next presentation would be from our partner Airbus for the Copernicus Masters. So let's quickly just jump to this presentation and see if Timo may join in the next 10 minutes. So Robin, I hope it's fine for you to go ahead now. I will quickly go through the slides to jump to yours. Robin, I see that you already unmuted yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you. So welcome and thank you for jumping in so quick. Yes, and thanks for presenting your Sublo challenge of the Copernicus Masters.
Okay, no problem. Hope Timo will join us later. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for staying to listen all the keynote and challenge presentation. So I was supposed to be the last one today, but Timo will probably continue the presentation later. So I will try to make it quick, so that after that you can go to enjoy your lunch if you haven't eaten yet during the pitch. So my name is Robin Expert. I work for Airbus Defence and Space Intelligence as startup ecosystem and open innovation manager. So historically, our company sells Earth observation satellite imagery to our customers, but nowadays, as you know, the market is changing. So simply selling imaging is not enough. We have to provide value-added services based on our images. So for that, we already have services and solutions for our customers, such as services in agriculture, maritime, forestry, analytics, and so on. But even if Airbus is a big company, we cannot do everything by our own. And that's why we built the Open Innovation Initiative. because open innovation helps us to address new markets and boost our digital business by creating partnerships with clever startups. The Copernicus Masters is a perfect competition for us to detect new promising startups, and that's the reason why we are participating for several years now. So to talk, next slide, please. So to talk about our competition, this year again, the challenge is to answer a specific question. So you will have to provide a solution that combines both Sentinel data, thanks to our SoBlue diet, and Airbus data with high-resolution images. So as you understand, this year again, the challenge is shared with our SoBlue diet. So here you can find some areas examples, such as natural resources, consumption, agriculture, forestry, maritime, defense, security, smart cities, etc. But actually, every new ideas are welcome and will be deeply studied. So feel free to propose any idea that can combine Sentinel data thanks to SoBlue and Airbus data thanks to our, for example, Pléiades satellites with a resolution of 50 centimeters, or SPOT or radar satellites. So during all the challenge duration, you will be able to use free data to realize your prototype. Of course, Copernicus data will be free to use thanks to SoBlue, the dias, but you will also be able to use the high-resolution satellite data from Airbus thanks to our sandbox website. So I won't give you too much detail here about how to access the sandbox, but feel free to visit our challenge page or contact me directly to get more information later. And finally, to talk about the price, if you go to the next slide, Ines. Yes, thank you. So to talk about the price, I think the main price for startups is the opportunity to create a strong partnership with Airbus, because this is the goal of our Open Innovation Initiative, as I described before. But to motivate a little bit more the startups, we also offer a huge price of 100 €, on our web portal One Atlas to purchase satellite images and services. And finally, as I mentioned before, this will be the perfect occasion to get in touch with several teams in Airbus, such as, for example, the R&D team, to integrate our playground and later, why not, integrating our One Atlas platform, but also to talk with people from BizLab, our incubator, startup incubator, or why not Airbus Venture. Okay, so that's all for me. Thank you for your attention. I guess it's the right moment to call back Timo before to enjoy our lunch.
I would actually suggest that we quickly go to your questions, to the questions for Airbus, and then try to get Timo again on the line. So maybe we start with first Airbus questions and then see if Timo will be available. So Robin, what are the key elements of that a winning application should have for Airbus?
So the key elements, as I mentioned before, is to use both Sentinel data and Airbus data. And then we compare to other challenge, for example, we don't have any specific area of interest. We are really open for any new ideas. So as I mentioned, we already have solutions in maritime, agriculture, forestry, and so on. But we are open to new ideas, such as, for example, why not insurance, real estate, finance, etc. So what will be the key point to win our challenge is to propose a prototype based on these images, Sentinel and Airbus. And also what we are looking for is to have a mature solution with a prototype, but also a business model which is capable to go on the future and can be realized in a partnership.
Thank you, Robin. There's another question coming up. So how can we assess Airbus data in the sandbox to make tryouts?
Yes, so I told you I won't give you too much detail, but I will go a little bit further. So to access the sandbox data, you will have to Google Airbus Sandbox, and then it will be the first link that you can find. And then after that, we'll have to select the data set that you would like to download, fill out the contact form, and then you will receive the data set by email. If it's too complicated, I advise you to have a look to our webinar, because it's already described in a webinar. But otherwise, you can and ask me a question, or we can organize a call. There is no problem.
Yeah, so the contact details of all the speakers, of our partners, are of course also available on the website. And if you want to get in touch with them, please just go to the website and write them or write me, and I will get you in touch. There's another question regarding the data again, Robin. Is the data accessible for everyone?
Yes, it's public data. So of course the SoBlue is public and free. And the Airbus data are public and free for the sandbox part. So of course it won't be for everywhere in the world at any day. It will be for specific data sets. It's about 15 different data sets composed of 50 images each. And then all of these data sets are for free and available for anyone which have ideas and would like to make prototypes.
Then a quick last question. You said that your winning solution will benefit from business development support and from technical market experts within Airbus and SoBlue. How does that work?
Sorry, Ines, can you repeat?
Yeah, how does it work, the connection to the experts or the technical and market experts within Airbus, and how do the winning solutions benefit from business development? So how do you actually support them? I think this is the question.
So the first goal is to propose a prototype during the challenge, and then if our experts of the jury consider that this idea can be further and can be addressed by a partnership with SoBlue or with Airbus, then we will do case by case. So at the end, it can be like a reseller contract, it can be an integration in our BizLab, integration in One Atlas, integration in SoBlue platform. So every case is different. It's really done case by case. So I cannot give you a clear answer right now, but if you have the question, start by proposing a prototype during the challenge, and we will see how we can collaborate in the future.
Perfect. Thank you, Robin. And I just got the information that Timo is again, he's now available. So Robin, thanks again for stepping in for him so quickly.
Good luck, Timo.
Thanks a lot. And then I would say, Timo, if you're available, I will quickly switch back to the slide of yours. And then you can get going. Yes, I do see you. Perfect. Welcome.
Yes, hello. Dear innovators, dear ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome and a good afternoon from Berlin. I could listen, but I couldn't unmute my microphone, so that's very bad if you want to actually say something. But now it's working, so let's go for it. My name is Timo Hoffmann, and I have the pleasure for the first time today to present you the BMVI PRS challenge. I'm an employee of the Federal Ministry of Transport and Digital Infrastructure of the Federal Republic of Germany, which is the entity responsible for the navigation program Galileo and also the German competent PRS authority. Our BMVI PRS challenge addresses a special subject in between of the Galileo and Copernicus Masters, as it aims at innovations which are particularly focusing on the technical benefits provided by the Galileo PRS. PRS stands for Public Regulated Service, which for the first time offers an especially protected and encrypted navigation signal, which is available for civil use. Our intended users are, for example, critical infrastructures, entities in the area of public safety, or emergency services. And from our perspective, a winning project should make use of the special features of the PRS, like reliability and encryption, by, for example, developing an application that provides added value by using these benefits. But of course, this contest is up to your creativity as we establish this prize, because we are looking for your perspective and imagination. I don't really want to narrow down what we are looking for any further, as I think it's already a very narrow band of projects, and we strongly encourage you to apply for it. And if you would like to get an impression what might be suitable as a project or as an idea, you're very welcome to look into the winners and the applicants of the last years. There have been a lot of very good ideas that we wouldn't have come up with ourselves, so it's way easier for you to look into the ideas that have been filed than for me to bring you an example that might be good for this year. What we can offer in the PRS challenge is that the winner or the winning team receives a voucher for 5,000 euros to support the further development of the idea. And what might be even more interesting is that the German government has a PRS funding program, not a problem. And the winner or the winning team will be given the prospect of comprehensive funding in this national support program for Galileo PRS. And we will try our best, if you have a good project, to guide you how to get access to that particular funding. Yes, and so that's pretty much it. We are looking forward to see your ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Timo, also for that it works now finally. You basically had the same problem that I had before. I was talking to the monitor, but not to you guys. So yeah, this happens when you have like virtual events, I would think. You already mentioned that the comprehensive funding scheme that you have at the BMBI. Could you maybe give a little bit of insight on what this funding program support program that you have is, so that the participants learn a little bit more about this one specifically?
Yes, with just a few words, it's yeah, I think the main object is to push projects that are actually beneficiary for maybe public service, emergency services, for critical infrastructures, what actually provides some added value for the public domain. You know, what drives it forward from a societal perspective. And yeah, that's a very broad use actually for PRS signals. And maybe we're thinking about something like improvement for fire brigades, or for the police or something, or what makes an added value from the governmental perspective. This could also be something maybe what provides an even more reliable information based on satellite navigation signals for use maybe in court, or for personal health. For example, a few years ago there was a project about submitting information about people in danger because of cardiac problems. And well, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. That you might want to look at it from a governmental perspective and see if this program creates added value for the society. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the perspective.
Maybe also the same question that I asked to Alex before, since BMBI is of course like a German institution. Are you looking for applications from all over the world or more German ones? Can you maybe?
No, from all over the world. We are open to all the applicants.
So no restrictions. Criteria-wise, I guess the PRS service needs to be lined out in the submission that the applicants send in. So they need to elaborate how they are using the PRS service, or are there any other criteria that are important for the BMBI PRS challenge?
Could you please repeat the first part of the question?
Yes, it's concerning the criteria for the PRS challenge. So I assume that, of course, the use of the PRS service or the intent of the use of the PRS service is one criteria that is very crucial for you. But what other criteria are there? Does it have to be a mature idea, or can it also be like just an idea?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Of course, it's very useful if the idea has grown so far that can imagine of actually using it soon. But well, that's not so restrictive actually. We are just looking for good ideas that are going in the right direction. And as we said, we are very willing to provide support and funding to drive the ideas forward.
Perfect. Thank you, Timo. Thank you very much for joining us and for answering the questions. So then, usually we would have Robin at the end now, but as we had him already, we are at the end of our international kickoff, our first virtual international kickoff. I would like to thank you for your attention, for staying with us for 3 hours. I hope that you all enjoyed the speeches that we had today, so the keynotes of our speakers, and also that you learned a little bit more about the competitions itself, so about the Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters, and what our partners are trying to do for you, to support you in developing your business further and making you successful as they are already. And therefore, yes, there were a lot of questions coming up during the webinar to our partners. So I would like to thank you all for the questions, and again, of course, also to our speakers, and remind you of where to log in and register for the Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters. So you do see the two websites on the screen now, and I'd like to remind you that you can apply from the 1st of April until the 30th of June. So it's about a little bit more than 4 weeks now to hand in your idea. This is still enough time, don't worry. But of course, as soon as you have submitted it, you might perhaps also get insight from the partners on your ideas. If you have questions, then specifically to your solution, to your submission that you have, there's always the possibility, of course, to come to us and ask if there are any questions regarding the process on how to apply and which challenge might be feasible for you. If you're unsure if this is the one or the other one, then just feel free to give us a call or to go directly to the partners. And yes, all the other information is available on our website. And again, I would like to thank you for staying with us, taking the time, and of course, stay healthy and happy, as I always say. And thanks a lot. hope to see you all, and especially, of course, your submissions in the two competition. Thanks. Bye.